I'm Tom. We're here. It's fight week. We have the biggest card probably ever, certainly in my lifetime, but I've said that 1,000 times, on the weekend. Beterbiev versus Bivol 2, the last crescendo taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and I will be predicting, doing my preview and all of that, of the undercard and the main event, leading up to Saturday. Starting with today, we will have the two heavyweight bouts on this card, one of which I've already released and predicted and said is Kabayao versus Zhang, or Zhang versus Kabayao. Perhaps the two most overlooked, perhaps, fighters in the division right now. And then, of course, this one. Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker for the IBF Heavyweight World Champion belt. The winner of this will be a world champion. Will it be Dubois defending his belt again? Or will it be Parker picking up his second, I guess, reign as heavyweight champion? This is a very 50-50 fight. It's a super hard fight to predict. Both are on a super streak right now. You got AJ, Wilder, Zhang, Hrgovic. They're the fighters that between these two, they've fought. Obviously, Usyk gets thrown into that, but the names they've beaten: AJ, Wilder, Zhang, Hrgovic, Miller. This is the caliber. This is the streak we're talking about. We're talking about, other than the two champions themselves, Usyk and Dubois, Joseph Parker's probably been on the best streak of any heavyweight right now. Outside of the champions themselves, outside of Usyk, these two have been on the best streaks. The question is, recent experience has me to believe Parker has that ability to neutralise that punch, that power of Daniel Dubois. We've seen him in there with the likes of a Wilder. We've seen him in there with the likes of a Zhang, that he was able to neutralise that power. Now, the question is, Wilder was shot to bits. That was a shell of himself, but he was able to do it. The speed that Wilder has is also the speed that Dubois has. However, Zhang, with the same power, and he wasn't shot to bits. Zhang wasn't shot to bits like Wilder, and he's got that power that Wilder is able to neutralise. The difference being, Zhang hasn't got that gas tank that Dubois has got. All the speed. Now, Zhang has got deceptively quick hands, but it's still not the same level, the same standard, the same gas tank as a Daniel Dubois. And whilst I'm saying that, Dubois has bounced back fantastically from that loss to both Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk. That bounce back he's had, whilst I think slightly overrated, is undeniably fantastic. The way he's come back to beat Anthony Joshua, beat Filip Hrgovic, beat Jarrell Miller is nothing short of fantastic, especially that most recent win against Anthony Joshua. To deal with AJ the way he did, the manner he did, the fashion he did, that's why he's a champion. He is now a proper, bona fide heavyweight champion of the world. To bounce back the way he did obviously poses massive questions for Parker. And I do think Dubois goes in as a slight favourite. I mean, the people I've been saying have been predicting Dubois to beat Parker. And part of my worry in predicting this fight is, I think, one of the huge things leaning in Parker's favour, one of the massive advantages Joseph Parker had against anyone really, one of his huge benefits was how active he's been. He's been super active recently. He's been a fighter that's been fighting, 4 fights in 12 months, I think it was. He's been a super active fighter, and because of that, we've seen him be able to have the right game plan to go in there against a Wilder, against a Zhang, and beat those people. But now it's been nearly a year. Last time he fought was March. It's been nearly a year that he's been out the ring. And to me, that's concerning because Dubois hasn't been. Dubois has stayed active, which is really good. An active fighter is a happy fighter. Activity is super important. You can spar, but ultimately sparring isn't fighting. Getting out under those lights in that ring at a top level is super important. And Parker was doing that, but we haven't seen him do it for quite a while now. And for me, that's a little bit concerning that now Dubois has got that activity over Parker. And the reason why that concerns me a lot as well is I heard Parker saying he's been spending this time getting bigger. That the only thing that these heavyweights have against Parker is his size. They've got the size over him. So now he's gotten bigger and put on size to remove that, and now they haven't even got that. Well, my problem is that doesn't always work. Look at our current heavyweight champion, Usyk, who boxes at 220 to 225 pounds. Size isn't everything. I don't think it helps Parker. I don't think size helps Parker, and we've seen him get a bit heavier. I mean, his last fight, he weighed in, I think, 1 pound lighter than Daniel Dubois did against AJ. I don't think he needs to be bigger. That's slightly concerning to me. So, and Parker will be able to land on Dubois. There's no denying that. Parker's going to be able to land on Dubois a lot. I actually think he'll be able to land there a lot. I watched the Hrgovic fight, I watched the AJ fight, the Miller fight. Parker will be able to land on Dubois. I don't doubt it for a second. I just don't think he's going to necessarily have the power to knock him out. Like, he'll be able to land on Dubois. In this fight, we're going to see Parker land on Dubois. He will. I've got no reason to believe that he won't. They'll land on him a lot. They've had people land on Dubois. I just don't think he's going to be able to have that power to put him to sleep. Maybe accumulatively, he might be able to get him to stop like Usyk did. Usyk's not got concussive power, and Usyk was able to make him quit and stop. But Dubois, Parker's not Usyk. He won't be able to put him to sleep. So I don't know why you're putting on size to, if he is, to go in there against Dubois. And because bottom line is, Dubois can punch. Look what he did to AJ, to Miller, to Hrgovic, guys who are naturally big guys. He'll be able to do it to Parker. And actually, to be honest, having said that, I think Parker's got slightly, perhaps, an underrated chin. He's been in there with Zhang, been in there with Wilder, been in there with AJ, been in there with Ruiz, Dillian White. The only one that's really knocked him out was Joyce. And let's be honest, he was ill. I don't want to make excuses, but he was ill during that fight. He's got a good chin. He's got an underrated chin, perhaps, actually. I think Parker's got an underrated chin because he's been in there with AJ, Zhang, Wilder, and not been knocked out. And there is something to say about that. I think what it basically depends on is how much Parker comes in weighing. I think his activity, meaning this basically year out, his recent activity will be enough to see him through that if he comes in at the right weight, which is a big if. I just find it very, very hard to go against Dubois here. But I really think, look, this could be similar to the AJ fight. He could go in there and blow him out the water. I just doubt it. I find it really hard to go against Dubois. But ultimately, I think styles make fights. And Parker has the style to beat someone like a Daniel Dubois, to nullify what Dubois brings, and the experience to nullify what Dubois brings and outbox him. So I think Parker wins. I think he could do it by stoppage, not knocking him out, but by stoppage late on. But I'm going to go for Dubois losing to Parker on points. That's my official prediction. Joseph Parker to beat Daniel Dubois on points and become the next heavyweight champion of the world. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Try and join our live stream on the weekend if you can get around to it. I'll be live streaming, I'll watch along. Make sure you come and tune in as well. What's your thoughts on the card? Make sure you like what's going on YouTube Works, people. Peace.